I'll read the Ramsey County Commission order on staff to fund the budget.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes.
Huh?
Second. Motion in the second to approve the minutes. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. None motion carried. You're up.
I need a motion to order and purchase our new squad car for this year. I enclosed the bids I got from Chrysler and from Ford, as well as the state bid.
I'd move to approve that.
Dodge is the low bid.
I'll second it.
Sheriff Nelson goes ahead and orders his vehicle.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
For which one?
Ask you a question?
Yeah.
The Dodge.
The Dodge, it's a low one.
Yeah.
How old is the one we're replacing, just out of curiosity?
5 years.
How many miles we got on it? 5 years, I'm just curious.
135,
We put on about 30,000 a year.
yeah, roughly.
Okay.
So
So
all of
that's
them are right around that 100 to 120, 130, depending on.
when we trade them, but we're going one a year now for every.
Well, normally
we have
what we'll
5.
do is we'll take the newest old one and we'll rotate that into a transport vehicle, and then we'll take the transport one we have now and you know,
And that's when it gets shipped.
that's the one that gets shipped out, so we kind of keep another year's worth of a decent vehicle, since we're paying for taking it all apart anyway.
Makes sense to me.
So we kind of rotate them all through.
This bid is local?
Yes, they're all local, yeah, I did attach the state bid, which is, what, $400 less than theirs, but that's the one the state of North Dakota gets for all theirs outside of Fergus Falls. I think they got the bid on that, it's 27.5, and I think Dodge come at 27.950 something.
Yeah, it's really pretty close.
Yeah, there is.
$400 difference, like we've talked about in the past, we can't drive there to get it for that.
No, so that keeps our business local too, so.
And that's traded, like you're trading?
No, that's just straight out purchase. Then our cars will come back to the county auction here coming up in July or whenever we have it. Then we'll sell it at the surplus sale over the summer.
So does it work better than the ones over by the snow pile?
It's an option.
Kristen's car, Kristen's car has sat over by the snow pile. We don't,
The one that they're rotating out.
well,
Well, no, we rotated,
no,
we took the car she was having problems with before,
Yeah.
that Expedition, and we've not had a problem with it, but we still have it, we're still using it. So we can rotate it through, yeah, they can come over.
no.
It's tough.
It's
This
just-
one?
I mean, it's even.
It's probably time for that one to go.
Right, even in the dead summer, I mean, if it sits 2-3 days without someone going out starting it, it's dead. If it's
Have all the batteries in it, or the
They-
radios.
done new battery.
Radios are in it.
There's even a master switch we put in there.
I don't
It's,
even use that.
Just a lemon, huh?
Anyway,
you
we
know,
can sure rotate it through, absolutely, not a problem.
so when she travels, she doesn't trust it. and
We'll sure look at it.
So,
It doesn't matter to me where it goes, I mean, so if it,
okay,
You guys can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
if she wants to do it, we can sure rotate it through. It's probably a good idea to get rid of that one anyway, because that's probably, I think that's a 2010 or 11,
yeah, I'm not sure.
so it's probably time to, it should go anyway.
Okay. Okay, so we got a motion for the Durango, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Motion and a second.
okay,
Roll call, please.
okay, Brown,
Aye.
Britt,
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Thank you,
Anything else?
that's all I needed.
Thank you.
Kevin's up.
Before Kevin says, can I ask one more?
Sure.
I don't think it matters for the sake of doing it, but we always approve the agenda, and we didn't approve the agenda because it's not on the agenda. To approve it.
Good point.
Well, I just, because technically I don't don't know if we have to do that for it to be, you know, 'cause technically the agenda is then open.
Wasn't that kind of put on there in place of visitors and delegations?
No, we always approve the agenda.
We're
Yeah,
just-
that's a rule of Robert's order.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's true.
Yeah.
Way back.
But we can do it now.
Yeah, we can, it's just, I just noticed it and said we should probably do that, so we're technically doing
You wanna
this
make a
correctly.
motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. as
Second.
I can put it on there too as part of
Yes, please do
the
that.
front part if you want for that, I mean, just continuous, just.
Yeah, just so we don't forget to do it.
Okay.
If we're technically, we're supposed to do it, and, you know, there's many times where we add something and then we approve the
Okay.
agenda.
Oh, that's fine. You wanted to add that though.
Yep.
So we do have
Yeah.
to add that,
I don't know.
from Terry Trainer, we do have to add this.
Oh.
You have that.
Yeah, do we have anything else then?
No, just that.
Okay, I'll amend to add the, in new business, talking about the cellular network from Terry Trainers.
Okay. And you're okay with that second? Or, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, being none, motion carried. Okay. Now we'll go to Kevin.
Okay. Update on the house, I did get a hold of a asbestos removal company and they were gonna come today and start. But I don't know exactly what happened, they didn't make it, so next week, we're gonna try and get here next week, the first part of next week, and start removing asbestos. So that's just kind of where we sit there. Okay, next I have 2 invoices that I'd like to get paid. One is for Ford, the North Dakota DOT, for our share of the paving project on Ramsey 8, just east of 3. And that total was $5,264.89. And I don't know if you want to make separate motions or act on.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second.
Where was this project at?
This was Ramsey 8, the paving project that we did between 3 and.
Oh, because we use the federal funds on that portion of it, correct?
Yeah.
So we have to pay, okay.
Pay the state DOT,
Okay,
because we
I forgot
use
that's what
federal
we use on-
funds
yeah.
that goes to them.
Thank you.
Roll call,
Wakefield,
Aye.
Fritz,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried.
And the second one is the second progressive estimate on Ramsey County 8 for close construction, put those culverts in. Close is the subcontractor, so the payment goes to Mail Construction, and it was for this cost as part of his bid bond. So that's total is $3,797.55.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call again, please.
Brown,
Aye.
Fritz,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, next item, Paul and I met with the water board last Tuesday about the culverts on Ramsey 10, just west of Gursky, 2.5 miles west of Gursky. And the hydraulic study says that the site needs 2 more culverts. 2 more culverts the same size as the one that's there.
Where was this again?
2.5 miles, approximately 2.5 miles west of Gursky.
Okay.
Do you have a better location than that, Paul? It's close, but in that mile.
Between section 6 and 7, wasn't it? I remember for sure.
Yeah, right, it would be 6 and 7, because the third mile is, yep,
Near the bean processing plant?
just west of there a little ways.
And just east of the project we had a few years ago.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask. We didn't put any culverts in there when we, so this is old, okay.
Yeah, this is Cass Breckus, recommended the water board look at this one to make, he's doing some drainage stuff up north of there, and he wanted at least 1 extra culvert in there, and this is the one that we decided to do the hydraulic study on with the water board. And the study, this hydraulic study came back saying that it needs 3 4-foot arch culverts in that location.
And there's one there now?
Yep.
And that's 4 foot that's there already?
Yep, it's a 4-foot arch, yes. So, the water board, at that meeting, the water board did make a recommendation that we follow the hydraulic study. And I have gotten calls about the downstream effects already. I tried to explain why you put the larger culverts in the county roads versus the township roads, state roads versus township roads. So I don't know if that, it was Michael Rickstead. Michael? No, Jonathan. And he had some concerns. And I don't know if I got it completely explained to him, but I think he understands what's going on. But anyway, what I'm looking for now is for some kind of a recommendation to take, or a motion to accept their recommendation from you guys.
We're gonna have to hire somebody to do the work, do it ourselves, or what kind of
This
cost are we looking at?
is gonna take an excavator, probably. We won't be able to do this ourselves. We won't be able to do the inspection and stuff. We won't need to hire an engineer, but we can do it.
When do you think you're gonna do this?
But probably next summer.
Do we have the culverts, we gotta order them,
We
or?
have to order them.
Move to approve.
So we're approving the water board's recommendation, just for the minutes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
Did the KLJ did the hydraulic study then?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the premise of needing 3 culverts off of added water, or the current water that's already sitting there?
The current standard.
The current standard of what we think is gonna be flowing there?
Century
What
code
is already there?
The century code requires a 25-year event on a county road.
Okay.
And then the ones downstream that Kevin was talking about are township roads, they only have to meet a 10-year event.
Okay.
So that's why the same, those culverts are not quite as big.
So essentially, we're following century code by going to the 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
but 38 by 57 arches, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the century code that kind of dictates all this. Yeah.
Just a matter of what kind of water sitting there for flow.
And we could go bigger, but we couldn't go smaller.
Well, we could, but
You raised that possibility of having some liability issues down the road.
exactly, that's exactly right. If we deviate from the hydraulic study, either way, smaller or bigger, then we face the possibility of lawsuits. But if we follow the hydraulic study, then the century code says that we're not liable in any way.
Do we have a second?
Yep, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Being none, motion carried.
So just a heads up, there may be downstream interest in that before we're done. Okay, next item is we need to put new tires on our skid steer loader. We called around town here for tires, and including it mounting, they're gonna cost $1,000 for all 4, for a whole set. So I'd like a motion for that.
Move to approve. There's a motion, is there a second? Motion and a second. Isn't $1,000, that's your limit, isn't it?
That is my limit, yeah. It was $250 for each tire mounted.
We can have a roll call on
Lightfon.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
Wakefield.
it. Aye.
Brown. Olson.
Aye. Motion carried.
And then also, we need to order 4 sets of cutting edges for our truck plows, the front of the truck plows. And they're carbide, they're gonna cost $2,976
Total or a piece?
total for all 4.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please. Kevin's just spending money all over.
I know.
Wakefield.
Aye.
Brown. Lightfon.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried.
And the last motion, I need to order some cutting edges for our motor graders. Now, this will be for winter and next summer. So, kind of planning ahead there, but they're gonna cost $10,672. And we did call around for prices on that also. That's the cheapest we could get for 10 bundles.
How often do we change cutting beds on?
Yeah,
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it really depends on if it's really, really dry in the summertime, sometimes they don't last a week, but if, there's moisture, then they'll last 2 weeks. Like in the wintertime, maybe once a month, it's just, it really depends on it.
You have to flip them out that often in the summer, it's
Yeah.
really.
Mhm.
I suppose it's no different than like color chisel plow shovels or
Yeah.
spikes or anything like that. Wears out quick.
And the roads are probably even harder than that.
Those would be. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Gray.
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Wakefield.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried.
The last thing I have, we got a letter from Mike Connors, I'll just read it to everyone. It's addressed to the commissioners. Dear commissioners, Kevin Fieldson and his crew who provide the summer maintenance on rural cemeteries in Ramsey County deserve a big thanks for the great work they do. Many of these cemeteries have no one to care for them if Ramsey County did not provide the necessary equipment and manpower. While the North Dakota Cemetery Code requires counties to provide minimal care, Kevin and his crew go the extra mile to treat a cemetery grounds with true respect and reverence? I don't know that word. Anyway, the Sons of Jacob Cemetery, located in Sullivan Township, was established in 1885 and represents the efforts of over 100 Jewish settlers who homesteaded in the Garski area to honor those buried there. Over the years, the cemetery deteriorated due to none of the original families remaining in the area. In the past 10 years, interested individuals from all over the United States worked together to establish a monument recognizing those settlers. They also have worked together to straighten, clean, and maintain the tombstones, both hand-hewn and field rock and commercial. In addition to the cemetery proper, the site includes several acres of untouched native prairie. One of the last remaining pieces of native prairie in the region, it allows visitors to view the land in the same way the original Jewish homesteaders did over 125 years ago. The support of Kevin and his staff adds a finishing touch to the efforts of those other volunteers. It would be impossible to keep the cemetery looking as good as it does without the assistance of the Ramsey County staff. A descendant of, I'm going to ruin this, Rachel Califf wrote, "The history of our existence is represented by those buried in the cemetery. Keeping their memory alive with dignity is one of the highest honors of Jewish beliefs. On behalf of the Sons of Jacob's community, please accept our thanks. Michael Connor."
Well, that was a nice letter.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have had him write this on the first.
So that's all I have.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes.
I have had a few phone calls about your plowing. Everybody has said that you guys have gotten out there and gotten it done as soon as, we know we can't get every road in the first 15 minutes, but I have gotten calls that said you guys have been out there, boom, so.
Good.
Good job. Okay. Now we have to skip down to unfinished business. And the VSO powers agreement will go with the Nelson County Commission later on. So letter to State Historical Society of North Dakota. That was the letter that Lucas, I believe, wrote up.
Has everyone had a chance to read it? Feel comfortable with it?
Looks good.
Yeah, very well written. I appreciate it.
You should make a motion for that.
Did we make a motion previous meeting to
Right.
approve
Yeah.
writing or sending a letter of recommendation,
Yeah.
a letter of support, so.
Do we want to make a motion to approve specifically this letter as the letter that we're going to send?
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
Which one we sign it?
This
Want
one.
to sign it?
She's got the master copy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Being none, motion carried. Yes? Now we're going down to new business, approve the bills from the city, O&M and drug task force. Candace.
Let's see what the one is. Okay, I got you them all in order. Yeah, that's lots. Okay. The first one is our usual, the West End Dike levy.
Yeah.
For the 12,767.65. And I think it would be okay just
Do them
as
all
we,
together.
well,
So
we
separate.
can, or just make a motion for all of them.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve paying of all the lift station bills.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Brown,
The county shares 3%, that's correct?
yes.
4,802 bucks. Yes.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Britt,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried. North Dakota Association of Counties.
Oh, wait, drug task force?
Oh, drug task force. Yes.
That's a flat 40,000 go.
No, and our total is the 12,000. Yeah. The county share is just on that last, that embankment.
I'd move to approve the 40,000 for the drug task force.
Okay.
There's a motion to approve the 40,000 for the drug task force. Is there a second?
I'll second. Just a question, is this in for the 2 officers? Or is this in addition to the payment we already have for the 1 officer?
We just have one now. The one that we had for the past 3 years has now become a city employee.
Oh, okay. That's
So
what-
now this one will replace the one that he's, and this one will be accounting.
Okay, but they're
But all the
both
grant-
strictly working
Yes.
drug task force?
Yep.
But all the grant money and all the audit and all the paperwork and everything goes through the city.
Yeah.
So what we do is we pay the 40,000, then before each payroll is due, she cuts us a check for his portion. It comes back, we pay him, and all the equipment and all the different things that is needed with that job is paid through the city.
What did we have budgeted last year, do you recall? Was it the same?
Um,
I can't remember.
yeah, I'm not
It
sure.
was something similar.
It was something close because it was,
Well, we had half of one before.
Yep.
Yeah, so we had like 20,000 before, and now it's twice as much because we're picking up basically a whole.
yeah, because he's now considered a,
But we're getting 2 officers instead of 1. Okay.
Roll call, please.
okay, so Wakefield made that one and Lightfon second, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Britt,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried. North Dakota Association of County Workman Comp yearly bill.
There's a certain code and a certain, for each department, they get a different code, which is a different rate of how the bill is figured. Social services is, their portion is broke down, which they will pay. Yep. And it's based off of 2016 wages
Just out of curiosity, how much is it?
The portion,
14 for.
24,258.92,
14 for that.
yeah, 14. Did you get a breakdown of that? Do you
Just
usually get a breakdown of that? Or not?
Just for ours, that's
Okay.
all I need.
Okay.
Just similar to last year or cheaper?
It's, well, it always fluctuates because you go by 16 wages, but each department is a different rate, a different, you know,
Right.
Yeah, it's all based off of.
It's all
possible
based on-
entry
About the same?
into such nature.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried. Ramsey County Highway transfer of FEMA funds.
Okay, what that is all the FEMA projects that we did from 2011. Most of them got paid out of our county budget, and I did reimburse them at the time. So now we had an audit here about 3 months ago, and we didn't have the receipts of where we transferred that money. So now we're transferring money from the FEMA account back to our road account, because that's where the money came from to pay the contractor the first time. If that makes sense.
So we're just reimbursing ourselves.
We're reimbursing ourselves out of the FEMA account for the FEMA work we did.
So is there two different ones here, or just the one?
Oh yeah, there's
Oh,
some
there's
for
two.
2013.
Oh, there's 13 ones too, so the first one, the bigger one is 11,
Yeah,
and then the other one's 13. So this is money we already have in the FEMA account, so we're just moving.
Yeah, there's no money going out.
no,
Or coming in. It's just getting moved. Who does the audit, FEMA?
FEMA did this audit, yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
I'll take it.
Brown,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried. Bremer Insurance 2017 insurance.
$68,000, is that the one?
Yep.
Must be a lot. How was that compared to last year, any idea?
No, she didn't tell me. I was looking on my notes here.
Cause we roll agencies like every year, don't we?
No, no. We changed it, it's every 5.
Every 5, that's right, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Yep. Yeah, it got to be too much work.
Well, it's a lot
to
doing
change
it every year.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not changing much.
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna change insurance and cover that down.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried. Approved transfer of funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Hold on. There's 2,
Yep.
so we're doing
Do them both?
both, or?
Yeah. Works for me.
One we always do.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Frith,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye. Motion carried. Approve snow emergency resolution. be approved so we can sign it.
So,
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second.
So this is all the counties that have approved on this so far?
Right.
You just look
Have
at
you
the
guys seen this map?
snow declaration.
This is all the counties that are in yellow that have approved a snow declaration up to this point.
Kevin,
Winter storm declarations.
Kevin had gotten this from Department of Emergency Services.
So essentially what we're doing here, these are all the counties.
when's the last year we did it?
Oh,
11? 13.
13, I believe there was one.
Yeah, Towner, Benson, every all have it around there.
I heard a story today from Hertzfield to Tuttle, like 3 to 4 feet deep. What's that?
I believe that's a terrible stretch of road.
I haven't been down there. Somebody that lives down that way told me that.
There's some pretty good piles out on township roads around here. There's a bunch.
Well, the way it was piling up and blowing all the time, it seemed like a prudent thing to do.
Yeah,
You may not need it now, but
I think that,
It's still way early in the winter.
that's right.
I think the townships are gonna feel the crunch worse
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
Here in this county anyway.
They're getting hit hard.
Yeah.
That state got any money left, so.
Well, this declaration will be federal, if that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah, so by making a snow declaration, it's just saying if there were some kind of a FEMA disaster declared, we would have the availability, possibility for available funds.
Yeah.
Or, no.
That come through the state, all right.
The state has to
Yeah.
declare
Yeah.
it in snow emergency first and then
Yeah.
move up that.
There has to be $1 million worth of, that's the dollar threshold, is $1 million throughout the whole state before they can apply.
I think they're already at that.
Is there already a?
It's been moved and seconded.
Oh, okay, then motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, being none, motion carried. Approved Blue Cross Blue Shield Wellness Program.
The change with this is the health club credit. It's now going to be taxed.
Pardon me?
It's going to be taxed.
Taxed?
Yes. So anyone receiving the wellness benefit, if you go to the gym 12 times or more a month, you get the $20. That portion is going to show up on your W-2 and taxes will be taken out of that.
Can we just use the cash?
Still taxing you for working out.
More paperwork, huh?
Happy
Keep you busy.
Obamacare for you.
Oh, goodness.
We're supposed to approve this?
Yeah, because it wasn't, when we did our Blue Cross contract, it wasn't, the song got changed.
So basically, with each possible employee can get $240, and then it just has to get included as taxable and wages under the W-2 then.
Which I sent out an email to all of them, letting them know that, and I've gotten 4 back.
We
So,
got the same notice through Sanford Health too, so.
so you get taxed for wanting to be
Defeats
on.
defeats the purpose of the credit, right?
I'm thinking that, I mean, if we want to make a choice, that's what we're
No.
gonna do. Like you said, unless we want to just maybe set up a one-time sale system, we.
I'll just move to approve.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, being none, motion carried. Approved VA credit.
This
So
is
moved.
the one for the abatement? Is that the one where, yeah, I'd second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Being none, motion carried. Oh, yes. Oh, it's right here on top.
Yep.
And now we have, North Dakota Association of Counties. Read this yet. Appointment request. So they're looking for
So it looks like they want you to appoint somebody. Is that, am I reading that?
the board, yes, the board, yeah.
As a delegate, is that what-
Essentially, yeah, that's how I understand it. It's been, well, you know, like we were talking, I was talking with Steve about it, they're making, there's gonna be the switch from the digital to the siren system now. So there's regional boards that they kinda throw ideas off of when they're gonna start putting the system into place and how they're gonna fund the system and things like that. So they just want us to have the ability to have our voice heard, I think, basically, and some input is how I understand it, but. And there's actually bills in the legislature right now discussing how to
What was it on?
pay to enact the system, they're working through the system right now. I can't remember what the dollar figure is, but it's fairly hefty.
We have to change the board like that.
Well, they're looking at treating it, if I remember correctly, it's kind of like a match program that the counties would cover, I think it's either 10 or 20% of the total cost, and then the state would come up with the rest of it. Maybe some type of pass-through fund or something, I don't know exactly how it's going to work.
You want to be the delegate of it?
Well, I don't know, I probably don't have as much information. You wanna do somebody like the sheriff, I mean, it can be just about anybody, I think.
I'm sure I can.
I mean, I have a cursory knowledge of it, of what I've learned. But I would do it if you guys wanted me to, isn't it?
Is that something the highway department's gonna have to change your radios out as well?
I would imagine highway, city, yeah. I'm already on that board though, so.
I'd say Sheriff Nelson, he's the one that's, some of his deputies are using it on a regular basis.
That's kind of what I was thinking, somebody that's using it on a daily basis, because they've got, and we can give our input to,
Or,
accordingly.
yeah,
With Kristen,
or
Or
Kristen.
Kristen, yeah, somebody, yeah. Any of them would be good, doesn't matter to me,
Should we confer with them and see which one's more available or willing, or you just wanna go ahead and appoint one?
I don't know if we should do that until we know if they're willing to.
Yeah, we better ask them first.
So then, can I move to table this until the next meeting and until such time as we know who would be interested?
Say,
It says to have it at the January meeting.
When is this meeting?
Aaron, do we have a clue when the first meeting of the regional is?
No, I suppose you could make a motion to either have the sheriff's department or the emergency management be.
I guess we have the ability to appoint them, we'll have to do it then, right?
or have-
Either or,
or have
how's that?
both.
All right, with everybody? I'll make a motion, either one.
No, we're to tell them to hash out amongst themselves or what?
When is this meeting?
I mean, it doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Or how often they meet, do you have a clue?
it's probably gonna be relative to the legislation and how they meet on that bill, how informed they're gonna keep these delegates on that bill. I'm guessing.
I mean, of what I know of it, I don't know how the crib structure, the regional setup is developed, but there's been a lot of work between certain county governments, sheriff's departments on trying to figure out a structure so that they've got some input on how this happens, so it's not just a top-down thing, is basically what it comes down to.
I know we've heard some of this out at the law enforcement center and all this 911 and all that.
And it sounds like it's a good idea, but it's just,
Yeah.
it's gonna be very expensive.
North Dakota's kinda on the leading edge of this, they're way ahead of everybody else as far as states go.
All right, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you.
There is a motion and a second to appoint either Sheriff Steve Nelson or Emergency Manager Kristen Nelson.
Would you like to visit with them?
I could do that. I could do that. There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Being none, motion carried. Visitors and delegations? We have none. Well, I believe all of Nelson County is here.
No, we're missing one, I don't know.
Oh,
You didn't show him. Yeah, you didn't show him. We were gonna meet at Dakota.
Yeah.
He won't be there.
I don't think he'll be there.
Okay,
so
so
it's
we're
okay,
all
it's okay
right.
to start? That's fine with us.
Okay.
Well, we haven't unfinished.
Oh, okay, we're good.
So we're
6:15 was a guideline.
Right.
I think that was a guideline for social services, so we had to do
Oh,
that.
We got the other guy said.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted you guys to have to. Yeah, I just put it all together, so.
Oh, okay.
There's some other ones in there too.
So you hand
Yeah, I
that
think there's
out
four.
to you guys?
Really?
They
Yeah.
have, yeah.
We're attending here for this.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
That's right.
No,
There's a long haul day, huh?
Okay.
Space one.
Interesting stuff, learn all kinds of things.
Get one, please.
Is this the same thing that we already have, or is this different?
No, I think it should be different.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I better push.
I'm
That way, we'll have our own
Okay.
choose. Yeah.
We don't have this?
Were you ready for me, or should I let you look at those things in a minute?
Can I interrupt you just for a minute, Nancy?
Yeah,
Who negotiated, excuse me, the contract from Nelson County side?
it was brought to us as a whole board. We thought we were gonna meet with someone from Ramsey County.
And you never did?
No one ever did.
Really?
Okay, that answers the question then.
Okay.
Um,
That's what I was wondering too.
We
but-
assumed that somebody from Ramsey County did present this to you, and it never was.
Isn't that correct?
I assumed that anyway.
Yeah.
I proposed the whole, getting together with the three counties and the numbers. That was, I brought to it during the budget process.
Okay, yeah,
But yet, as a
I
negotiation.
thought a commissioner was gonna approach Nelson County, that's what we were told.
That's what we
We're
had
gonna-
thought too.
Myrna called me, and then she was gonna call Odell, and that's all I knew. She
That's all
called me,
you
she
knew.
said we should get together, and she was gonna try and organize it, but she didn't. She said, well, I said, you gotta call somebody. She said she would call Odell, and I think she maybe called another commissioner, but never arranged for.
Okay,
I mean,
very good.
Well, that's
We're
good
kinda
to know.
starting from scratch yet.
All
Good
right.
enough then.
Okay.
I think that's what we need to find out.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Olson and fellow board members for having us here. I'm Nancy Marquardt, one of the Nelson County Commissioners, and there's Alan Klefsler, the Commissioner, Don Faulkner, Commissioner, and Sheila Fisk, our auditor, that came. I just wrote down a few facts. We're mandated, just like you are, to have a Veteran Services Officer. We have had Stacy for a number of years, and he has done a great job for us. Our number of veterans in Nelson County has gone down, and the numbers that are coming into our office is next to nothing. I talked to Stacy, and he said that for the months of November and December, no one had come into our county office in Nelson County. We did a survey of what we knew for our area and our towns, and some of the people from Dakota and north of Talna go to Grand Forks to do their shopping and medical visits, that type of thing, and some of them come to Devil's Lake to do that. Farther north of Highway 2, they go to Larimore Michigan and Petersburg go to Grand Forks, Pekin, Macville, and Annetta go to Fargo for their shopping and medical visits. We understand that Stacy has had a couple of Nelson County veterans come into Ramsey County, as well as many other counties each month. We have to answer to our county residents, just like you do, for how we spend their money. Stacy has assured us that we only need 3.5 hours a week for him to be on staff in Nelson County. We understand and we're okay with that. He has an office in our courthouse that we will keep for him with all of the equipment he needs. He has a computer there that was purchased 6 months ago for him. The printouts that I handed out are page 1 is the one that I did the minute that we got all of the last information that showed all of the costs, and it just clearly showed us that we truly felt we were paying more than was equitable for us. It showed Ramsey County with 28 hours, Benson with 8, and Nelson County with 3.5 hours. The figures that I used on that first sheet did include workers' comp insurance, travel dues, all of that extra stuff. That's just how I did it. And it all then showed that Ramsey County would be paying $16.50 an hour, Benson County $42.19 an hour, and Nelson County $96.42 an hour. Page 2 of the colored graph sheets, I didn't know if you knew which ones I did or which ones you had, was sent to our auditor from Candy, and I'm not sure how it was worded, but it was just like, here's something that we had put together, so I didn't know but it was another look at it. It showed basically the same hours. Benson County was 1 hour less, and this was based on just the salary amount of $48,600. The percentages then, Ramsey County would cover 55% of the cost, Benson 30%, and Nelson 15%. Ramsey would be paying $18.36 an hour, and both Benson and Nelson would be paying $40 an hour. Page 3 is the last page that we put together, is how we would be willing to have a contract with Ramsey County. I changed the Benson County numbers too, just so that all the hourly amounts are the same, but of course that would be your decision with them. Page 3 shows Ramsey County with 73% of the hours and 73% of the salary. Benson County 18% of the hours, 18% of the salary, and Nelson County 9% of the hours and 9% of the salary. This is based on just the salary amount of $48,600 with a cost to each county of $24.30 for each hour on site at your county courthouse. This would also reflect that of the workers' comp, insurance, travel, and dues, we would each pay a percentage based on our number of hours. Ramsey 73, Benson 18, Nelson 9. And I'd like to thank you for your time and considering this information to make the Veteran Services contract as fair and equitable to all counties. Thanks.
Is it true then, Nancy, that Nelson County paid $26,000 approximately last year for the veterans officer?
Is that what you have? I'll ask our auditor to clarify that.
In last year's, yes. But
Okay.
he was working a lot more hours. He was, are you talking 2016?
Yes.
On the budget, it was $22,212, but he was rated as 46.66%. So that's why it was higher.
Can I ask a question? Stacy, where'd you get these numbers from? She said
Well, that, which one is
It's the
that?
big VSO sheet with all the different counties and
The
the
one
numbers and
that
everything.
you took, Brenda.
Okay, that's, that was provided to me by North Dakota Veterans this morning.
Okay, so this is.
And it's a
should be
current
accurate.
and accurate reflection of all the counties and veteran service officers and their veteran numbers.
Okay, very good. Why I'm asking is simply for the information's sake, to make sure that it's current. And I appreciate your guys' desire to try to save your residents as much as possible. You don't want to pay more than you have to, I realize that, nobody does. what I'm leading up to is the question of, should we be paying off of population? Because if you look at the population breakdown of total veterans, and conceivably speaking, yeah, you probably don't have a lot of people coming in your office right now. But if you look at total veteran population, that's the possible capture that Stacy would be working with, of total population. And if you look at that total population number, adding the 3 counties together, it's 1,622 residents, of which you guys have 400. So you have 24% of the people. Benson has 21 and we have 55. I'm just throwing those numbers out there so you're aware, that's all. I understand where you're coming from. It's just, when I looked at this and saw how it was getting broken down, I understood where you were coming from. I was thinking more, you know, how the split works. You know, maybe 50, 25, 25 or something like that would be equitable. Plus then you guys would get a full day, Benson would get a full day, and we'd get 3. Unless you guys don't feel you need a full day.
From what Stacy has said, we don't. Even November and December, there was no one that came into the office.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that that is necessarily the best question to ask. So Stacy, I'm just curious, do you feel that you can provide all of the services needed to veterans coming out of Nelson County in 3 hours per week? Do you feel, and
Yes.
I mean like in total?
The
including ones that
past
come
history,
here?
going almost nearly all of 2016, the number of veterans coming into the Dakota office has been minimal, and extremely minimal. And I think I talked with Ed and Candy here last week one day. I've had 5 Nelson County veterans come to Devil's Lake in January.
This month.
Since the second or first business day of the year here. So I've had Nelson County veterans coming to Devil's Lake, and it's that same reason, medical care and shopping. And then they come and do their veterans care as whatever's required.
Right, but
Yeah.
in total, the combined hours of the time that you spend in Nelson and the time that you spend in Ramsey that is devoted to veterans coming from Nelson, is that greater than 3 hours a week?
No.
It's not?
No.
Okay. Because the reason that I ask is that, like Adam, I think that the number of hours to me seems sort of like an arbitrary pegging, and that it makes more sense to me in the same way to base it closer to the population base of people who may need to use these services, seeing as you need to have a VSO officer, right? I mean, you'd be paying either way. And so if you were going to be part of a joint powers agreement, it would make sense that you pay based on the percentage of the total capture, possible capture. That's my view. But I understand where you're coming from, and I can see where your number is talking about, you know, $80 to $96 an hour is you know, exorbitant. There's no question. But you know, the alternative is you'll have to find. Well, I mean, unless Stacy, I guess, is willing to work hourly, you'll have to find another solution.
Let's put it this way. We're not here to needle out what veterans are gonna show up to get services. We're here to provide a total service for all 3 counties. And I hope this agreement works. I hope we can come to some conclusion and make it work. But no matter how you look at it, you know, you got 341 on this page of veterans in Nelson County. Ramsey has 881. A few years ago, they told me I had 850 in Ramsey County, and that shocked me. But it doesn't anymore. We have to provide service for all 341 veterans. Whether they use them or not, we've got to be available to take care of the needs that they have. And if we have 881 in Ramsey County, then we have to have service for all of them. We've got to have somebody here to help do that. Last year you paid $22,000. In your proposal now you want to pay $7,300. I don't know. I feel that's a little light.
But the percentage was different.
I know, the percentage.
And he was there a whole lot more.
Well, And I appreciate that. I think the whole point of this is, if we work together, we can all save money.
Right.
You know, instead of you saying, well, we don't need them 8 hours, we only want them 3.5, well, then essentially, we're gonna be subsidizing you with our residents.
Right.
And I don't think that's fair. You know, we have to look out for the residents of Ramsey County as well, because especially since you have veterans coming over to see him here. So it's gotta be I think it's just gotta be a fair number, and I thank Ed for correcting me. You guys have 341, not 400, I had the numbers backwards. So you have 21%.
Yeah.
Stacy, how long have you been having that same schedule over in Nelson County?
Well, since I started in Ramsey County, it was split. We were doing half the time here and half the time over there.
Okay,
Mornings here, afternoons over there. That's since, and I don't remember when I started here, but
It's been 4 or 5 years, hasn't it?
not quite, 3 or 4 years. It'll be February 2nd, I think, is the anniversary. So that'll be starting the 4th year, I believe. I'm
well, I'm just wondering,
getting old.
for scheduling purposes and for continuity, if, you know, you may not be needed right now for a full day, but if you did a full day in Nelson County, could you anticipate that picking up?
Let me give you a little bit of history. When I started in Dakota, it's almost 10 years ago. And at some point, 5 or 6 years ago, Ramsey County approached me to take this position and combine 2 of them. That didn't happen at that time. Then as time progressed. In the meantime, I had up to 30 people from the town of Devil's Lake coming to Dakota. And then now that I'm over here, they've all returned to Devil's Lake or to Ramsey County. And we've picked up, I mean, I'm seeing people from more than just the 3 counties we're talking about. I'm all the way to the Canadian border, Eddy County. So they come to see me because they're coming to Devil's Lake as a destination. So right now it's short in Dakota. I mean, it's not that busy in Dakota. But yet, if you look at in terms of what's the 5 people that have showed up here in this month, that's as busy as I've been for Nelson County veterans in 7-8 months. So it will vary depending on the time of the year and who's looking for benefits.
Well, and that's kind of my point off of basing it off of numbers, because it's, you know, 1 month you might have nobody, and then the next month you might have 5 or 6, you know. Just out of curiosity, why was Benson County given a full day? Was that what they wanted?
They demanded a full
So
day.
they wanted a full day?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just wondering, do you use the full day when you're there?
When I was there for 2 half days, September 20th through the end of December, 4 people. But they demanded a full day. 4 people came in. Of those 4, they started coming over here to Devil's Lake because they could come to Devil's Lake for more reasons. I don't want to put Minnewacan down, but there's just nothing to attract people to come to Minnewacan.
Well, like you said, you're coming into town to shop, and
Yeah.
this is where the VA
Yeah.
clinic is.
And in Benson County, that wraps all the way around over here to the east. So that whole area out there is coming to Devil's Lake.
Closer to come here, right?
Same with Highway 2, Leeds. That's where it started, was Leeds people coming here. And they asked, can I come and see you? I can't turn anybody away. That's our creed.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at, is we're gonna see anybody and everybody that walks into our office here.
Yeah.
Because the veterans deserve that.
I get the Belcourt, Bottineau, all the way up to the Canadian border, coming here because of the clinic.
If they come in Cavalier or Downer County, you take.
I've had, well, even when I was in Nelson County, I had Pembina County, Cavalier County, Walsh County, Grand Forks County, all coming to Lakota.
Like I said earlier, we have to provide a service, and I think we should provide as good a service as we can for the veterans, because they have served this country. They have put their time in. They have paid their dues. So,
And
what's agreeable?
What I really liked is even when Stacy isn't in Nelson County, his answering machine lets people know where he's at and how to reach him. And same way with when he's not in Ramsey County or not in Benson County, those phone numbers that Stacy provides not only the office hours of that county location, but also how to reach him at that particular time. And so he may not be in our county 40 hours a week, but he's providing service to those veterans via that phone number.
And I guess from my perspective, this is sort of analogous to paying for roads, right? There are roads in this county that, although my tax dollars and other people's tax dollars go towards, I may never use that road. The access is important, right, to someone. It may not be me. I may never see a benefit directly from what I paid to service that road. But that being said, by having the access there, it ensures that people who do need that road have it. And I think that that's, at least from my viewpoint, the rationale for why we would want to peg the percentages that each of our 3 counties pays towards Stacy's services on the number of possible people who will be using it from our counties. And is that a perfect peg? No. Will we ever be able to find one? Probably not. But the thing that's nice about this peg is that we can keep it current and update the percentages based on the way that shifts, right? And so 10 years from now, if the ratio of veterans between our 3 counties has changed and done a 180, at that point, I think it's very reasonable to change the sort of pay structure. And so, I mean, from my view, it's less about the number of hours spent in each county and more about the number of people that the services are extended to. And at least that's my perspective on it. But again, I understand exactly where you're coming from. I mean, it's not lost on me. But I think for the sake of fairness, we need to have something, a standard by which to gauge the investment of the 3 counties.
Just to throw out numbers, you guys came with a couple different analysis. Candy ran one as well, the 4th page of the handout Candy gave you. In Benson County you visited with, and they're fine with staying at 30% of the bill. Would it be reasonable to do like this 50, 30, 20, where you guys are still going down from $23,000 last year to about $10,000 this year, and it's pretty close to your percentage of the actual veterans that are available?
That's right.
You have 21% of the veterans right now, so 20% of the bill, just to keep it square, is pretty fair, at least in my estimation. So it would be, we'd cover off his wage projected 24.3, Benson would cover 14,580, and you would cover 97.20, and then the same percentage of the split.
Looking at that chart that you just showed, it shows you going up then by a whole day, getting that much more time, and paying $900 more a year for your whole day.
Well, I know, but I'm saying we could split it out and give you guys another half day if that's what you're looking for.
Right.
Go 3 days, 1 day in Benson, 1 day in Nelson.
Stacy has said it wouldn't be a benefit. Do you need less time in this county?
No.
Maybe that's the problem, that you don't need as much.
No, but we're not we're not arguing about time.
We're not, that's not my point. My premise is that essentially, if he's seeing 5 Nelson County veterans here in the month of January, and you are only gonna pay for the people he's seeing off of the hours you have over there, then Ramsey County is paying for him to see Nelson County veterans.
And Eddy County and all the
Yeah,
other ones.
but then why should we have to carry the water is what I'm saying. I'm just hypothetically asking that.
I don't care where a veteran comes from.
I don't either.
We're gonna service them, I'm sure glad Stacy does it.
I'm just saying that I think it
Because he
should
knows how to
be a
do it.
fair pay structure. that's
Right,
all.
and in a perfect world, if there was a way that we could assess those, individuals coming from all over, then that would be reasonable. But these are the 3 counties that have been in the room.
Yeah.
And so we all need a VSO officer, so that at that point, we need to discuss how we can divide it equitably.
All I'm saying is, under this scenario, we're all saving money. You guys are saving $13,000 a year. Benson County, we don't have their numbers here, but they told me they're saving money.
That's not.
And actually, we're spending a little bit more, but that's fine, because we're gonna have them 3 days a week.
Benson's would be around a little over $8,000
Yeah,
savings.
so you're saving 12, Benson is saving 8, you're still getting the same amount of service you're getting before if we give you the full day, and we're all doing well. We're all getting the services provided, plus the individuals from Nelson County, the veterans that need services can always come in here, they can always call Stacy if they stop in at your courthouse and he's not available, you know, so you're gonna basically get full-time service while still saving $13,000 from
There's
last
one about $2,500.
The 10 years I've been in with Nelson County, the veterans have come to know me well enough to where they don't hesitate to call me at home.
And you're willing to take those calls?
I take them, yep, I serve every veteran that calls.
And that's good. That's why we appreciate it.
I would like to bring up, I talked with Ed and Candy last week. I got it's a demographic expenditure spent by the VA per county
Then we could, you could
based on the population of veterans.
Yeah.
Don, if you remember when I first started and I brought this numbers up to you, and it was, at that time, I'd only been there a couple of years, the Nelson County expenditures for 460 veterans was the total cash or monies coming back to the county was less than $750,000. Calendar year 2015 right now, total cash coming back to Nelson County, this is cash, 1.322 million is what the veterans in Nelson County are getting back in cash based on the benefits that we have gotten for them. The total number of dollars come back to Nelson County in the form of medication, health, hospitalization, vocational education, every benefit that the VA offers for Nelson County in the year 2015 is 2.25 million. That's the total number of dollars spent on veterans in Nelson County. Now let me bring up Ramsey County. If I could have gotten 2016's numbers, which we haven't, we would see a market increase, but Ramsey County's numbers, cash back in the year 2015, 2.928 million. That's cash that the veterans have gotten through the VA. That's money that comes home to the veterans in the county. Total expenditures for everything for Ramsey County veterans, 6.5 million. Veterans benefits pay and the county receives benefits themselves in the form of dollars that have come home. We were told when I first started, we were told that veterans and veterans benefits is one of the only activities in county government where money comes back to the county. And it's spent by veterans in the county.
That's some pretty big figures. I mean, that's why we have to provide this service.
I agree.
And Ramsey County will provide it all by themselves if we have to. I know I'll have support on this commission to make that motion if I want to. And I know they'll support me. But we have to provide the services for all veterans. And it doesn't matter what county they come from. We're gonna take care of them when they walk through the door.
But again,
Let's use some common sense here.
I
A
agree
few
with you
$1,000s to
that-
provide the services, pretty minimal.
that we do need to provide a
Yes.
service. And thank you, Stacy, for being that person that helps them get to that point. You can understand where we were coming from, getting that initial
Yeah,
report.
misinformation,
And
sorry.
that's why we're here.
We take fault too.
Thank you.
yeah, we apologize for failing to communicate
We should have
properly.
communicated better.
And we would like to discuss this amongst the rest of the commissioners at, well, we have our next meeting, I guess it's in February. I'm not sure how quickly this has to be decided.
Well, only for payroll for this month, is that correct?
I don't know how
I'll make
payrolls
that
gonna go.
How can we do
Yeah,
payroll without?
we can hold a special
Well,
meeting and make a decision, we
you know.
can talk to.
Because you can't really do payroll without a signed contract,
Right.
okay, without being
Is
like,
this
like
something
Dagmar
that?
or-
So initially, we had gotten, earlier this week,
Yeah.
we had gotten a printout that showed us at 15%. Was that not something that you were thinking of then? You're going to the one that you have handed out today that was 20%?
Well, if,
Correct?
the only reason that I'm in favor of this breakdown is because it most closely mirrors, it most closely mirrors the number of veterans in each county.
We'll try to have a special meeting in a day or two, get it decided.
And you'll have to have time to decide.
Tell me what you were saying again.
I'm saying that the reason that I'm in favor of this breakdown, which would be the 50 Ramsey, 30 Benson, 20 Nelson arrangement, is that arrangement most closely mirrors the number of veterans percentage-wise in each county.
I just wanna say something about Stacy. When he took over for Nelson County, there was a heck of a mess there in Nelson County, and he really did a good job, and he really cleaned up everything.
He's done a very good job, Ramsey also.
And that's part of when Stacy brought this to us as a possibility to kind of work between the three counties, because Benson was gonna need help. We wanted to share him, because he does such a nice job.
Yeah.
So we thought it would work for everybody. We could all get quality services, and we could all save a little bit of money, hopefully. And the veterans would all get what they needed, so.
We assumed you were talked to in November, but evidently it wasn't happening.
Again, we apologize. We should have.
Yeah,
Check with
and that was the rationale for why we thought that the initial breakdown of costs was as it was we thought that you had been briefed and that this was something that was at least in the ballpark. And so, you know, after we sort of came back and looked at it, after hearing your initial objections, I mean, from my perspective, the most equitable arrangement is based on population in the county. And that's my view. And that would be the closest to the 50, 30, 20 arrangement.
We're looking at holding a special meeting possibly even tomorrow. So should we contact one of you or Candy or
Yeah, I would say
talk
we are
to
the
Mark?
And then if, regardless of what you do, if you don't want to go with that agreement, then we're gonna have to have a special meeting too to discuss it, and then we'll probably have to conference call or something to try to hash it out between the two groups of us, so.
Right.
Okay. So right now you are saying that you would like it to be the, I guess I don't have a copy of it.
50, 30,
The one
20?
that you had put together here.
Yes, that's correct.
We got 50, 30, 20?
That's
Yeah,
correct, yes.
20, that one right there.
And then there's the,
And I think that another important thing to mention about that is that because this will be a yearly contract, that I think each year we can revisit the number of veterans in each county, and then we can revisit the percentage paid in. Because again, that's what I think I want to peg it to, or that I hope this commission and your commission as well wants to peg it to. Because I think it makes the most sense and is the most equitable.
I think it's the fairest way to do it, because, I mean, we don't know what the population is gonna do in the future, but, I mean.
Is this the population that you're basing it on, then, that's written here too?
That's based on,
This big sheet right here.
right, and that's from the 2015 census data
It's got-
estimation.
Yeah, fiscal year 2015, and it's straight from the North Dakota Veterans Association.
Affairs.
Affairs, excuse me.
There's this one.
Yeah, so that's the numbers breakdown, 881, 400, and 341 for you.
And it's a little bit different than, so this is the estimated 2015 census. So it's a little bit different,
Just give or take.
but again, we just rounded to the nearest
And this is the 2015 actual?
2016.
2016, actually.
Yeah, that came
Oh,
straight
no,
from
I'm sorry, you're right.
Veterans this morning.
No, you're right, you had it right, I think, because it's the fiscal year 15. That's correct.
Yeah.
The 16 data has been
Yeah.
accumulated, but it has not been published.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, we're always gonna have a leg of a year on the
Yeah.
data, but we can constantly update the percentages. That's how I would see it too.
Right,
Just
I
they're
agree.
already locked in at the 17.5, so that's what they're gonna be.
No,
Yeah, I think we should.
Well, yeah, we
To
should.
offer
we should
that, and then we will
approve
agree to it if it's
an
not.
updated.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'll make, should we handle that currently? Is that in order? I would make the motion that we would go with the 50 for Ramsey, 30 for Benson, 20 for Nelson, under the auspices that Nelson County would agree to it.
I will second that. There's a motion and a second. Let's have a roll call on
Sound agreeable?
Okay. Brown,
Aye.
Britt,
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Olson.
Alright, motion carries. So you guys are gonna have a meeting and get back to us.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
We
for coming.
really appreciate it.
Can I get a hold of you, Mark, just by using your tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
later,
Or
early
can,
afternoon.
either one.
And
I will
would
be in touch with Candy. We'll try and get it for tomorrow,
There,
but
Candy, will you send us out an email once you know?
yeah,
Either
that'd be
that or I'll
fantastic.
call everybody.
Sure.
And I would like to say, I appreciate you guys bringing it up, because if you wouldn't have, we probably wouldn't have caught it.
Right.
And we need to be fair to everybody.
That's right.
Thanks for coming over too.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thanks.
Have a safe travel back.
Yeah, have a good trip back.
Announcements. We'll start with you. Do you have any announcements?
It's a good day to be alive, other than
Okay, that's what we'll take. Ed, any announcements?
No.
Adam?
I won't keep us long, but I've got to be here in 12 minutes anyway, so.
We start early, yeah.
Yeah. We had an attendant care advisory meeting today at 4 o'clock, just to kind of give you guys an update. I don't know if I gave you an update since they moved the administrator under social services, we lost that employee, so it moved over to another employee, and she'd been handling it really well. But she's gonna be taking on some extra duties, so she's giving us a heads up that we're gonna have to find a new administrator. Luckily, things have been running really well. We have 19 employees, so we have good numbers to staff the facility. It's being used fairly well since March when we reopened it. Between attendant care, shelter care, and out-of-school suspension that we're using it for, it's been used 35 times. And we get calls, the sheriff does, as well as social services, to use it more from other counties. So we're gonna come up with a daily rate and try to start opening it up slowly to other counties and see how that works for our staff, as well as, we've got the facility, it's sitting there. Let's use it for as much good as we can, is basically what our concept is. So within reason, we don't want to wear people out either. So that's one thing that we're looking at, and I think, and then we're gonna look at a new administrator for it, and I'll keep you in the loop when we get that done, so.
Great. Can I come back, and I do have an actual announcement. I forgot to mention that the library board voted to begin the process of using a $25,000 private donation that we received to look into the construction of an outdoor reading garden for the Lake Region Public Library. And we agreed that that project could cost up to $100,000, given that it all be privately donated funds. And so that announcement, I believe, was going to be sent to the Journal. I'm not sure if the Journal has received any word on that yet, so I hope I'm not jumping the gun on the director of the library, but it was a unanimous decision by the board, and we're very excited because we think that it'll offer a really great service and a way to commemorate such a large donation. So I mean, this won't levy any additional funds from the city or from the county. It'll be entirely privately funded through charitable donations to the library, but I just thought that since it was such an interesting occurrence that I'd share it.
Okay,
I have nothing.
and I have nothing.
Just talking about water in Washington.
Yeah.
I would like to know who's going to attend the County Officials Academy.
Yeah, put me down for it.
Yeah, I better do it as well.
When is it again?
March 6th and 7th.
Okay, I'm done.
March 6th and 7th.
I
Candy, can I get back to you tomorrow on that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's
I might be in Arizona for training.